All right, so it's Alani and
Casey.
And we're wrapping up the Harrisville Farmhouse adventure. We had some high points, some low points, and some interesting points. Now, we want to talk about a couple of our interesting points. We started upstairs. We felt like there was somebody, a man, that was standing or laying on the floor, actually looking down the stairs at us. So we went upstairs, and there was a room in the farthest bedroom with it's the door to the birthing room, which is just a nightmare in itself. What a dreadful place for someone to have to be in. We couldn't get the door open, and we heard an audible, both of us heard an audible,
Hello.
male voice.
Yep, Thursday. I can't explain it. It wasn't anybody upstairs but us, and it wasn't coming through our spirit box. It was definitely...
Wasn't the guys down here? It was, that kind of interesting.
The interesting thing for me is that it looks like a closet, and it looks like a closet where you'd open it up and there'd just be shelves. And I kept seeing a kid go behind the, I guess, chalkboard fireplace, and so I'm like, no, there's something is back there. And this is my first time being here. I don't know a whole lot about the house, and so we tried opening the door. We couldn't get it, so we were like, oh, that's it.
We definitely tried to open that door. It would not open.
Yeah, it was enough that it sounded like we were knocking, and that's when we heard the hello.
So we got a couple names. We got our names said, which was kind of unusual, and it just felt kind of awkward. Did feel the bed shaking in the middle room. It just saw a couple light bursts in that same room with the birthing room is. Just a strange, muddy thickness upstairs. Nothing scary, bad.
It just felt, I guess, like hopeless, like depression, frustration. When we went into the birthing room, it got really very frustrating.
We got cranky. We didn't like it at all in there. It felt...
Yeah, we did also feel pain in our abdomens, both of us.
At separate times. And same area. That was pretty interesting. So we pulled a few things apart. Then we didn't find much downstairs in the cellar area. We did a dowsing session. It wasn't epic. It was pretty boring.
But the evidence was, what we did do. It was
very similar. You're right. Our dowsing rods were in sync with each other.
So it wasn't like one spirit was trying to talk to us, not the other, or anything like that. It was just not.
Yeah.
So.
We did a session in the library with the pretty little bear, and
we got quite a lot. Yeah, I've not seen him do that anywhere else. So just to see him work, I'm very thrilled to see that he works, because nowhere. Statler was like, we got a couple little blinks, and then that was that. Hinsdale, he hasn't done anything at Hinsdale. I get worried that he's broken at Hinsdale, because they just don't play with him there.
He's very responsive. Responsive, which was really good for us. Then we went into the front parlor room, I guess, and we continued with the bear there, and very responsive to us there, and we did pendulum there, and that seemed to work pretty well there. He seemed to be traveling with us. We think a juvenile person. We did a calling ceremony. We kind of summoned them to us, and there was a couple of things they got on the SLS camera. We'll see that after we go through that. The interesting thing that we did was we did a scrying session in the bathroom. We didn't talk to each other.
No. We sat side by side, and we do have it on video and on the recorders. And I think what we got was, I feel, pretty conclusive. We just gotta try to piece it together.
So we both got
we wrote our stuff down. So the first thing I got was a woman being murdered. It was very violent. All the stuff I got was pretty traumatic.
Yeah.
So the first thing was a woman being murdered. Second thing, a fire. I got a man being shot in the head, and I felt like this was a battle. And then I didn't write it down because I thought maybe my mind was, adding to the story. But I did see the side view of a child that was limp. It was a toddler, and I saw his arm down, and he was not with us anymore. So I wrote, is this all part of a raid, like a war raid? And then the last thing I saw was two men, I think they're brothers, and Roman numerals were kind of connected to that. I also drew a woman. My drawing is not the best, but it is a woman who has curly hair down about here. She keeps it to the side. Puffy shoulders, and then like a sweetheart neckline. Very, very thin face, which is kind of interesting. We also saw the woman with the bun with black hair, so it could maybe be her during a different time of her life. So.
The first thing I got was something was scratching me on the head like this. Usually, spirit will touch my head or they'll scratch in my ear. This was like trying to get my attention. Not harmful, just trying to get my attention. First thing I got was a woman with Bell's palsy or a stroke, and I saw the side of the face, very droopy, the thin face, very similar to what she had drawn. I saw a child that had drowned. I saw bubbles coming out of a nose. Toddler, drowned, dead. I got the name Jasper, and no harm, not doing any harm. Then I got widow, mean, third owner, and kind of I think that was the Bell's palsy person that I saw in the decorations. And then I got a young man, blue military cap, reddish blondish hair. He had showed me his black eye and shot dead in the head. And then when we compared our notes, we were pretty happy about that. We got some very distinct similarities.
Mm-hmm. Before we compared our notes too, I don't know if this is anything to really document or take note of, but when we were in the other room coming into here, we smelled lavender. And then when we're sitting there, because it was getting to be kind of gruesome, I took my eyes down off the mirror. And then I noticed right there on the thing, he has old lavender soap or something. And so I'm like, I made a joke about it to kind of lighten things. And that's when I told her that everything I'm getting is pretty. Yeah,
we've seen a lot of tragedies and traumas throughout the layers of here, but we haven't seen anything that would, constitute something awful here. There may be shadow people here, but not all shadow people are bad. That's a misnomer. Mm-hmm. I don't think I'd want to see one upstairs because it's just the way it's laid out, and it's hot as heck upstairs. So, if you're dehydrated, you're going to perhaps hallucinate or have very vivid dreams, whatever. There's certainly been things that have gone on here. We're not saying that there hasn't been. We just didn't find anything that was
validating as much as is what we held for. But yeah, the one interesting thing that I did kind of like is outside here, they do have the ring of giant rocks that are in the ground, so I don't know who would want that in their yard like that, because it's got to be like a mower's nightmare. But to me, the first thing I thought was fairy ring, and then we've seen a couple of lights here that look like fairy rings, and or fairy lights, sorry. And then we also on the spirit box got fairies. So after I talked about it, right. So that's kind of interesting. And the lore with fairies is if you build in the way of fairies, you're gonna have some bad things happen.
You're gonna make mischief.
So I'm not saying that that's all of what happened here and why the bad things have happened here, but maybe it's what started it and things just kind of dominoed. It could be.
It could be. I mean, it could be. The house just feels devoid of joy, and when we would ask questions about good times or parties, it would give us the answer to no. And so we don't find that, I mean, it just doesn't give you a joyous feeling in here. There's not a lot of yay. I mean, there just wasn't a lot of this. Doesn't have that feeling here.
Like the children and stuff that I've seen, like playing, like they're playing, but it's not like laughter running through the house. You know, it's not that type of scene. It's just more like we're playing hide and seek because that's what we're allowed to play, but we have to be quiet. And you know, that's
kind of what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Good adventure. The gentlemen certainly had fun doing their thing, and they got some good results. And then, of course, we'll go through all the mechanics of everything and see what we can find, and then we'll post it. We've got Cauldron Talk with Casey, and then Alani Phoenix. We've got my podcast, Let's Talk It All. You know, Al has been fabulous coming on for the ride, and so this was a bucket list, and we did it, and we're good. Yeah. We have a lot of equipment to carry out to the car.
Yes.
And go home.
All right, switch positions.
Okay, you
But Al
guys
and I
want
talked a little bit.
to...
All right.